on his door at 2 in the morning.
Some people, some experts have actually characterized Kevin Mitnick as a nuisance, just an annoyance. Would you characterize him that way, or is he a danger?
Well, a little bit of both. You know, in my articles, I never referred to him as a computer hacker. He was a con man and a grifter. What he did best was actually something that they call social engineering in the underground. I mean, he tricked people. He fooled them to pretend that by pretending that he was somebody other than he was. So, but the question is he a danger? Well, what he was doing is he was systematically seeking out people who were internet security experts, stealing information from them, and then passing it on to who knows where.
So with Kevin Mitnick behind bars, are we safer now from hackers, or how many other Kevin Mitnicks are there out there?
Oh, there are lots and lots of people who are attacking computers around the country. This is, you know, great sport for some people, and it's very serious business for others. I mean, not long ago, a gang of Russians attacked Citibank and almost stole $10 million. I mean, that's where it starts to cross the line between, you know, sort of a voluntary hobby and something that's much more serious. I think if the government would let us deploy strong cryptography, we could be much safer. And I think that will happen at some point, but it's very difficult. So we're waiting on better locks, basically.
Great. Thanks very much, John Markoff. Coming up next, a look at tonight's Sight of the Night.
The Sight. Tonight and every night. Welcome to the Sight. The Sight. Tonight and every night.
Step 1 is now complete. MSNBC.
In a show like this, everybody's the host.
We'll make use of the internet. We'll make use of the phone.
Kind of a revolution in terms of the way television has been done.
Internight, next, only on MSNBC.
Imagine if you could turn back time.
Good evening. I'm Tom Brokaw.
I don't believe that I ought to quit.
Maybe you're wondering how I got here.
It was like being in the eye of a hurricane.
Liftoff.
What can you say about a sight like that?
Relive your life and times.
Good evening, live from the Berlin Wall.
With exclusive moments from NBC News. Join Jane Pauley for Time and Again. Every night at 7 Eastern, only on MSNBC.
The revolution begins here.
From now on, the promise of the internet and the power of television become one. Because from now on, NBC News and Microsoft will revolutionize the way you get news.
MSNBC.
A 24-hour cable and internet news service. The future of news from the people you know. MSNBC.
The Sight is actually two places at once, on TV and online at thesite.msnbc.com. And now it's time to find out what our always curious online colleagues and their counterparts at Yahoo, a sister in our corporate family, have crowned as the Sight of the Night. Our web ambassador this evening is Mimi Gassich. Mimi, what do you have for us today?
Well, here we are at Yahoo, where we'll start, and we're going to search on a site called MovieLink.
Why is MovieLink our Sight of the Night?
Well, this is a great site because it's really useful. You can order tickets to movies online. So here's the home page.
Okay.
And
we can search by theater, search by title, or browse. Let's search by title.
Okay, great.
Now, is this limited to certain geographic areas, or can I go anywhere?
No, it's a nationwide service, and we've already typed in my zip code, which pulls up all the local theaters, local information. So here we go, and let's search on a movie. What would you like to see?
Let's check out the big blockbuster for this weekend, which was Independence Day.
Great. So we're going to search on
which we know it's sold out.
Exactly. And that's why this site is useful. You'll see. So we're going to pull up Independence Day. And now here's a listing of all the theaters in my area. And again, this would work anywhere in the nation. You type in your zip code. And it tells me where Independence Day is playing.
And what time.
And which times. Exactly. Now it also gives you, if you click on more information, a synopsis of the movie.
And who's in it.
Exactly.
Right. Okay, well... And
then back to showtimes. We go up here, and we're going to buy a ticket now.
Okay, I want to go to the 6:25 showing.
Okay, 6:25 showing. You click here, And now it pulls up a screen where we can actually order the tickets. We buy them here, we show up at the theater, and they're waiting for us.
How do you pay for your tickets?
You pay with a credit card, and we just fill it out right here. So let's say you're going to go with a friend. The tickets are $7.50. You pay a $1.25 surcharge.
So there's a cost for, not for browsing the site, but for buying the tickets.
Exactly. But it's well worth it because you don't have to wait in the lines in the heat. Exactly.
$1.25.
Right.
To stay out of the line.
Fill in your credit card information, expiration date, click on verify. You get immediate confirmation of the number of tickets, theater, time, etc. You can even print that out and take it with you. Show up at the theater. The tickets will be waiting. You can walk right in and get the best seats in the house.
And you're guaranteed to have those seats? Or?
Yes, you are guaranteed. And that's what's really nice, is you don't have to wait in line and you don't have to worry about the show actually being sold out, which often happens with summer blockbusters. You show up and you can't even get the tickets.
So this is a sort of timely service to know how to use if you're willing to pay the $1.25.
Exactly.
Right.
Well worth it.
Great. Thanks very much, Mimi. We've got another Sight of the Night tomorrow, and we'll be back in a moment. Coming up, you'll meet Dev, a regular here at the site. He's the first ever computer-generated cyber journalist created by a supercomputer here in real time. The guy behind the bar is always the guy with the scoop. In our case, it's an espresso bar, but we've got the guy who's got the inside track, or at least so he thinks. What's up, Dev?
Oh, hey, how are you?
Great.
Good to see you, Soledad. Oh, things are not good right now. Did you, last week, did you notice how the internet was so slow?
Yeah, RT1 lines were down.
All those high-speed lines that people lease for getting on the internet, you know, big companies, down, down, down. Now, I have a theory about all this.
Yeah, I bet you do.
Of course, you count on me. It all started in California when Pacific Bell put their caller ID service online. Just happened to be last week. Coincidence? I think not. In fact, the theory is that all the caller ID traffic just brought the net to its knees.
Oh.
So anyway, all I know is what I hear. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Is that a Newton you got there?
Yeah, it is.
You like that?
It has a few problems.
My Newton doesn't understand me. But there is a very, very cool thing in the Newton you might be interested in.
What's that?
There's an Easter egg in there. Seems the Apple programmers are big UFO fans. They put a reference to Area 51, the secret Air Force base with all the alien technology in there. See, when you first get the Newton, you have to tell it where you are.
Right.
You know, Schenectady, Santa Fe, Area 51. When you put it in, you get all these alien icons. Trouble is, the folks at Apple sent it to CIA before they sent it to us. So the CIA takes one look at it. They say, Area 51, that's top secret. You can't tell anybody. And they made them take it out.
Oh.
But your old friend Dev knows how to put it back. So stop by my website. That, of course, is at thesite.msnbc.com. And I have all the instructions there for bringing Area 51 back into your Newton. Hey, speaking of aliens, have you seen Independence Day yet?
No, I haven't gotten around to it yet.
Don't look up whatever you do. I tell you, Jeff Goldblum is great in that movie. You know, he's got a laptop with Windows 95 on it, of all things. How much do you think Bill Gates paid for that? Anyway, he uses the Windows 95 to connect to the alien computers. And we thought they were an advanced civilization. One more item today. The area code for Microsoft tech support, you probably know that by heart, don't you?
Yeah.
Love spending 9 hours on hold waiting for some weenie to tell you reinstall Windows. Anyway, that area code is 206. But the phone company there is going to change it to 425. You know what that means?
No, what does that mean?
425 on your telephone handset is HAL. HAL, as in HAL 9000, as in 2001. Cool, huh?
Coincidence?
I think not. All I know is what I hear. That's
right,
it from Cafe Gossip. I'll be seeing you.
Okay, thanks a lot, Dev. Next up here at the site, singer, songwriter, and web page diva Tori Amos. She's featured in dozens of home pages. We find out why she's so popular on the web. There are millions of people on the World Wide Web, but not very many of them are on it like our next guest. Tori Amos is a singer-songwriter whose fans around the world have made her the star of more than 70 homepages, all devoted to her music, her lyrics, her personality, and her insights into life. I got to talk to Tori backstage about her new celebrity on the World Wide Web.
With my dolly from the shitty sea, with the demon and an Englishman.
Your fans can find you anywhere on the internet. People can all reach each other. People in Australia can talk to your fans in Cuba, who can talk to your fans in the United States. What do you think of that kind of ability with the technology to do that?
What they tell me anyway, usually before a sound check, there are usually a few people outside hanging out, and they inform me what's going on. They kind of let me know that world, because I don't know this world that much. And it seems like they're people that would have obviously never met each other. And a lot of times what they tell me is it starts off talking about the music, and then it kind of becomes a relationship that has nothing to do with me anymore. That's kind of fun. I don't know how to turn a computer on. That is not my arena. If you put me in a piano shop, then I'm really at home. I'm very comfortable there. You gotta kind of giggle. I think it's fun that if I write songs that make people want to talk, then I'm doing what I always wanted to do as a writer. I always wanted to make myself think. I always kind of wanted to, go, okay, hang on a minute, what am I not seeing here? I know you're here, he's there, I know certain obvious things, but what am I missing? What am I not being told here? What am I not telling you? What is the mystery here? And I usually think there's a mystery to every person and to every conversation. There's always a subtext, and I'm fascinated with the subtext, so I try and write about it. The wizard's black and white, lighting candles in our hands.
I really love to be involved in projects that people kind of shake their head at. It's just great being a pioneer, isn't it? Everybody, I think, would like to be a pioneer, whether you're, just along for the ride, because you're going to places that haven't been charted before. So in a sense, the whole concept of what is a pirate, what is that whole, lifestyle that we don't think there is anymore. Well, it is, but it's on these little boxes. This is where everybody talks about the new frontier.
Where do you think, with the technology going as it is, in 5 years, Tori Amos's stage show, same as it is now? You out there with the piano in your band, or totally different?
Oh, I don't know. I do have a feeling that in 5 years, the whole media will change. Because think about it, there's going to be some kid in Philly or something that has his own radio station that's playing music that maybe 1 million people want to hear. And I don't know how it would happen, but he or she has rigged it up so you plug your computer into your car and it's all audio. And you can hear what this kid, I don't know, maybe even 16 years old, their vision. And I do think that it's going to create other markets, so that's why I think the internet will be a powerful place. Because you're going to get not what the religious right or the left decides because somebody's bought them, whatever.
You get the real thing.
Learn more about Tori at thesite.msnbc.com or our express address, thesite.com. And stay tuned to find out how the leaders of the information revolution took their very first baby steps into computing.
The revolution begins here.
Because from now on, NBC News and Microsoft will revolutionize the way you get news.
MSNBC.
A 24-hour cable and internet news service. The future of news from the people you know. MSNBC.
All this week, we'll be sharing highlights of a series of exclusive site interviews with the people who actually decide what the digital future will be. Today, our first question, something a little out of the ordinary. What was your very first computer?
Well, I guess my very first experience with computers was I was a student at Georgia Tech in the early 1961. And they had this a Burroughs 220 computer in the computer center, which was a vacuum tube machine, and I think it had all of 8K of memory in it. And my first experience was learning how to program this thing and do something useful with it, and it was an experience. And the fellow had this whole extra rack of tubes handy because there were so many tubes in it that just based on statistical probability, there was one going out about every 10 minutes. So he was ready to run around and keep replacing the tubes to keep the machine up so he could finish the calculation. That was my introduction.
My first computer. Let's see, my first computer was probably in 1978 or 9. I think I bought a Apple IIe from my home. Ran some neat little programs the children loved and I enjoyed, but it was hard going. Wasn't a lot of software for it. We did some basic programming back then, yeah, sure, the kids and I, and tried to demonstrate it. There were some new products out like that were demonstration programming languages. Disappointed when we realized it didn't have much database support. You couldn't do much file building and sorting and so forth. But it was interesting and productive. I think I gave that machine away to someone in one of the children's schools years later.
Well, the first time I used computers was when I was in 8th grade. I was 13 years old. And it was a time-sharing terminal connected up to a big General Electric Mark II computer. And it had the basic language. And so we had to pay for our computer time and be very careful not to use it too much. We typed the programs in offline with a paper tape, and then we'd feed it in and see if we could get it to work. And the school had a little grant from the Mothers Club that we used up after a couple months, but by then we were pretty addicted.
Very first computer was the Sun one. It was basically it was started at Stanford. Andy Bechtelsheim had created the Stanford University Network, hence Sun Workstation, as a kind of a PhD project, and he got tired of trying to do software on the VAX when he went in at 4 a.m. and it still ran slow. So he said, why don't we use these microprocessors and give each engineer, their software developer, whatever, their own workstation. So he created the Stanford University Network Workstation. It was 68,000 based. It had about 1/4 megabyte of memory. It had a 3 megabit Ethernet adapter card and was not UL approved. And I actually, as a manufacturing manager in 1982, built the first 25 of them myself by hand and drilled and sawed and hacked and hammered my way to getting those out the door.
My very first personal computer was actually my wife's personal computer. I kind of just touched it with a finger, and it was an Apple II. And it only was capable of all caps, and paragraph signs were built into the text, and the whole thing looked like a typewriter that was rejected by somebody or other, and therefore got a second life as a computer. That was my first one. Community property says half of it was mine.
First computer was a K-Pro luggable CPM machine back in 1982. I was curious about PCs and thought I should buy one and play around with it, and thought it was fascinating, particularly the idea of connecting a modem to it, which I was intrigued with that idea way back then. And connecting a modem to a computer back in 1982 was quite a trick, because you had to buy the modem separately, then you had to buy a cable to connect the modem to the computer, then you had to buy communication software to make the modem talk to the computer and talk to the phone line. You had to buy a subscription to an online service, and the whole process took me many months and many hundreds of dollars. But there's still something magical about the idea of being able to connect to information and people all over the world from your desk. So it was a lot of fun.
Actually, I had two first computers. My first computer was rolled into the basement of Carnegie Mellon University. I was a junior. It was 1958, and it was the IBM 650. My other first computer was an IBM, the very first IBM PC that came out. Cost me a fortune. It had about as much capacity as my watch does right now. And I used it as a word processor because I discovered that my son, as I did, wrote upside down and backward and had great difficulty with penmanship and expressing himself. And so we took one of the first, or the first, word processor, and the two of us learned how to write.
We'll hear more from these power players tomorrow. And remember, you can get complete transcripts of all our exclusive interviews at thesite.msnbc.com, or even simpler, thesite.com.
Relive your life and times with exclusive moments from NBC News. Join Jane Pauley for Time and Again every night at 7 Eastern on MSNBC.
Jim Louderback, editor-in-chief of Windows Sources magazine and a fellow member of our Ziff Davis corporate family, keeps a finger firmly on the pulse of new high-tech products. Jim, what are we going to take a look at today?
We're going to take a look at digital cameras. Now, you probably have a camera, right?
Yeah, why would I want to bring a digital camera with me? I mean, on vacation, are you going to haul your computer with you?
Well, no, but how long does it take to actually get your photos redone? I mean, you take them down to be processed, it takes, what, a day, a week, an hour?
An hour.
But see this camera? I went out, I took a picture just a couple minutes ago right here with each of these cameras, and I have it up on the screen. I can print it out really quickly. Into the computer, and right here, printouts. See? Isn't that beautiful? I want you to have those. Yeah, you couldn't do that if you had a regular camera.
One of these looks much better than the other.
Yeah, that's right. This Kodak camera is actually really inexpensive, $350, and the quality shows. It's blotchy color, as you can see over there on the left. This one right here, a Canon. Canon makes good cameras. This big one is actually quite good. It's $1,000, but it gives really the best quality of any digital camera I've seen. Here, give it a try.
So how fast? How fast is this going to be?
All right, well, press down on it. Like any camera, you've got to get the flash has to come up. But press down when you see the green light, then let it go.
Okay.
See, that wasn't too hard, was it?
No, but how fast do I get the picture?
Okay, take it, put it in this nice cradle, which Kevin did a good job of. And all I have to do is go right over here to my computer program and just say, hey, go into and get me the image, acquire the image. And it'll come up with an interface. And it basically goes out to the camera and says, what pictures do you have in?
Yeah, so how does this exactly work? I mean, there's film.
There's no film. It's a microchip. This thing actually has RAM chips in it that it stores it in. And this actually has a hard drive. And when I go here and press on the camera, it's going to go out to the hard drive inside the camera and pull the pictures out. Yeah, there's actually a little digitizer inside the computer. And there it is. And if I want to bring it in, I just double-click it and bring it in. Now, but see, that's not all. You know, it's kind of nice. You get the camera. You can do fun things. You can put it on your website. But there's more to just putting it in and printing it out. Now, check this out. This is a program called Goo from Kai's Power Tools.
Goo?
Goo.
Okay.
And it actually lets you manipulate images. Now, you recognize this gentleman,
yes,
right?
Brian Williams.
All right, now what do you want to do to him?
Oh.
Pick one of these lovely things.
What's smooth? What's smooth?
This is like finger painting. Smooth's boring. Let's nudge.
Okay, let's nudge.
Let's nudge. Look. Ooh. You know, we can do strange things here. Pick another one.
Oh, that's okay. What's move?
Move?
Yeah.
Move will actually move things around. Ooh, this is really gross, isn't it? Let's try this.
Yeah,
Let's reset. Watch
try.
this grow shrink. This is really cool. Look. Ooh, tiny head. Now, I actually had a chance to play around with this. I want to show you. I actually did a movie because this can actually do movies. And I actually just said, you know, what would happen if, you know, he were captured by aliens? And that's what we ended up with. So there's lots of fun stuff you can do with this. And actually, I have to show you something else, something I think you'll recognize. You can play with this for hours. It's $50. You can go out and just really have a great time. And you don't actually need a digital camera for this. I downloaded lots of images like this one. You'll recognize I downloaded it off the internet. Right. But once you get it, you can just have tons of fun. Now, you recognize this, I'm sure, right? Right, well, let's do a little bulge here.
Okay, I think this is the point we can wrap this right up.
Look at that, look at that. Wow.
Thanks
How
very
about
much,
rotate?
Jim. We'll be right back
And let's
after
stretch.
this.
Let's stretch. Ooh, boy. Now watch, it's a movie.
Dateline Tuesday. On the streets, crooks are making big bucks smuggling tax-free cigarettes.
It's really not a whole lot different than a drug dealer.
While your tax dollars are going up in smoke, could a major tobacco company be benefiting from this black market business?
The volume that's being moved is staggering.
A Dateline investigation. Dateline Tuesday.
MSNBC.
It's time to get connected.
It sometimes seems there are only two options. You either grow to love your computer or grow to hate it. Tonight, the site's philosopher, astronomer, and not quite your run-of-the-mill essayist, Cliff Stoll, tells us why he thinks it's possible to do both.
It's July 8th, 1996. The people at the TV station don't want you to know that this is pre-taped, but I don't care. I'm pre-taping it. The scoop is, people think that I'm down on computers, that I think technology is bad. You know, they're wrong. I love technology. I love computers. I think the internet is neat. It's not computers that bother me. It's this culture of computing. It's this idea that's going around that says, if you're not online, if you don't have a keyboard in front of you, if you don't have an email address, if you don't have a homepage, then you're being left at the station while the train of progress is moving forward. I say to hell with that. No, I like people who don't have computers. In fact, it seems to me that having a computer, having a web page, is almost immaterial to leading a rich, full life. My feeling is we need more skepticism towards computing, towards the internet, towards the web. We need people to say, you know, because I love computers. I want to ask questions about their value in life. I want to challenge the great assumption that if you've got computers, if you've got a website, that necessarily you're doing a good thing. It might be more important to spend time with friends, to spend time in a real neighborhood, to be fooling around doing things other than playing on a computer or uploading and downloading images. It might be more important to, sit down on your porch and meet your neighbors than to sit down at a keyboard and communicate with strangers across the continent. Again, it's sort of the first or second week of July, 1996, 2 or 3 in the afternoon. People at the TV station don't want you to know that this is pre-taped. So I'm not going to tell you. But from over in Oakland, this is Cliff Stoll, pre-tapingly saying good night.
That's our show for tonight. Later this week on the site, a look at hate-mongering on the World Wide Web. And what happens when innocent chat becomes online infidelity. And of course, daily reports on high technology news. That and much more is ahead on the site here on MSNBC and online at thesite.msnbc.com. I'm Soledad O'Brien. Good night. Good morning.
It's multimedia and interactive, and that's the World Wide Web.
Digital revolution will be televised.
The World Wide Web. It's multimedia and it's interactive.
The site, tonight and every night.
You're now leaving the sorry